So gonna and then we can.
I'll listen back to. It's our 18th episode. Oh my god. Back to the audio real quick. Give me a second.
Jesus, yeah. Well, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. Pretty good. Woke up like 30 minutes ago.
3 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago?
30.
Okay.
Earlier I told Macho 30 hours, and no, 30 minutes.
Okay.
So a bit I'm all over the place. We're good, man. I'm good. Okay. Life, just feeling. I'm feeling myself. I'm. Just go. How are you feeling?
I'm good too, man.
That's good, man.
Just hanging out.
Work treating you well?
Yeah, it's all right. Same old.
Yeah.
I literally woke up like maybe 20 minutes ago.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Feel that.
Which is funny because I was like that's always my plan with these things. Whenever I have to wake up early, like I have a time in my mind that I'm going to go to bed, and then it just doesn't pan out. Something
Yep.
always comes up that keeps me awake for like an hour longer.
Something important or just
No,
yourself?
just myself.
Yep. I feel that. I'm like, oh, it's 10. I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. Gonna get ready for podcast. I get into bed. I'm like, all right, let me just check this real quick, like on social media, and I'm in a rabbit hole on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, so
Yep.
if I look
do
at
it all the time.
all these conspiracy theories,
It happens.
yeah, I end up.
All you gotta do is just debunk conspiracy theories to put on a white turtleneck and then go on camera. That's what you gotta do.
Whoa,
Shout out to my boy.
We sounded good.
I was like,
Yeah, we're good on audio.
Cool.
I just tweeted out on our Twitter, so we're good to go whenever you guys are.
Sounds good. Just tweet this out. um. All right. Okay. Going to tweet this out. All right, we are good. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. God, this is episode 18. Shit, dude. All right, man. Guys, welcome back to the 18th episode of the DualShock and Sense podcast. I am your host, Soul, the connoisseur of anime waifus. With me, as always, I got Macho. How you doing, man?
What's going on, everybody? It's the King of Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic. I'm doing good, man. It's been a pretty crazy week, but I've been salivating in some video games and some Netflix shows. If you haven't got a chance to watch Too Hot to Handle Season 2, it's trash TV at its finest.
oh my God, you
Trash
too?
TV at its finest.
Okay.
It's so good.
That's so crazy that you brought that up, because I had my man, this is getting too much into the weeds. I had my ex who I'm like on really good terms with. She made me watch that, man. And I'm like,
Man, bro, my
against
sister
my will,
watches
man.
it, and every time I pass by, like I'm like, oh, this is trash, and I just stay there for a while watching with her.
Yeah, I
And I'm
bet you
just
do.
And I'm just like, bro, why are you trying to hook up with her? You're gonna lose $2,000 more. Stop.
Yeah. Dude, this season is even more wild. They have people that just completely give into their impulses.
Oh,
So
They're crazy. They're stupid. Is what they are.
They're stupid by all means, but it's absolutely hilarious. I'm loving
Love it.
season 2. It just
Damn
brings me
it,
back to those
Macho.
old VH1 days, man. It's like you don't even have to
Yeah.
watch it. If you're like playing something in the background and like trying to get the Ratchet and Clank Platinum, just put it on the background. I guarantee you just like look at your TV every now and then, see like what
Yeah.
crazy stuff they said.
Yeah,
It
without a doubt.
feels like I'm watching a bit of Jersey Shore.
I was literally just about to say that. It does bring me back to those
Yeah.
days of the trash reality TV shows.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it,
that's
man.
that's
It's worth
funny.
it. So watch it.
It's funny that you
Yeah,
brought
it'll
that
make you
up.
feel better if you're having a bad day. I swear to you. It's so good.
Oh, we also got Macho's partner in crime, Walt. How you doing, man?
Your new PlayStation 5 owner just recently had it. I just want to put it out because I'm still happy about that. I finally got it. It's been a few weeks, but I'm finally playing PlayStation 5 games. I've we'll get into it, but I finally got like actual exclusives. For the people saying we ain't got no exclusives, shut the hell up. What you talking about?
Oh
Uh,
man.
but we in here feeling good. Um, it's been a relatively calm week. Family dropped in and surprising me, visiting from the island, and just chilling, man, chilling.
Yeah, you got family from even like the beach like area, right? Because
Yeah,
hold on,
yeah.
yeah, I think they're actually in the podcast right now. Hold on, right?
Oh man.
Yo, what's good?
I was really hoping that this seal shit would die off after like what the third episode that we did it, and it's just
Y'all
followed me
tweeted it.
around, man.
Y'all brought it.
I didn't
Y'all
tweet
brought it to
nothing,
life.
man. I'm not responsible for this.
Yeah.
Don't put that on me.
I am the social media handler. I am the one enforcing the seal.
Yeah, he's literally got the seal of approval right there, man. Literally.
You know it.
Uh, guys, we got a good show planned for you guys. A lot to talk about, but first, as always, we're gonna start off by talking about the games that we've been playing this past week. Macho, you want to kick things off for us?
Yeah. So, actually, hold on, let me move to my page here. But I mean, I wanted to touch on a little bit on Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade because I feel like I didn't really cover it that well in the last podcast. I did say that I beat it and it was fantastic and all that stuff, but I think I really undersold what they're doing with this. It's kind of insane as far as like the story direction. Walt, did you actually play Intermission at all since you got your
Intermission,
PS5?
not yet. I have been experiencing seven with the new fresh coating of paint, but I
Right.
haven't played intermission yet. Been playing other games that got in the way.
Okay. All right. So it's like what Intermission is doing is kind of insane because of the not just like in the story aspect, but the gameplay as well. Because what people, at least for me, what I was expecting from Final Fantasy VII Remake Vanilla was that in its combat system, you're able to switch between different characters at any given moment. But one of the things that people were kind of like, there's one thing that could be in the combat that's really cool is team attacks. And intermission actually brings that in, so you use like the ATB gauge to kind of use your own like team attacks throughout the battle, and you press a button and you're linking attacks with your Sonnen, Yuffie's partner Sonnen, and it's really cool. So I'm wondering how they're going to implement that in the second part. But other than that, it's a fantastic DLC. The only one thing that I will say that it kind of like it carries over one of the sins from the vanilla version or vanilla Final Fantasy VII Remake is the level design. It's not like bad. It's just okay. One of the things that really saves it is mostly the fact that the environments look so pretty and the colors are awesome. Like they just highlight the entire environments, and of course it's a little more memorable because of what you're looking at. It's like a science fiction fantasy, so it looks incredible. But yeah, it's one of the things that the intermission episode doesn't really improve is the actual level design and actually going through these environments. So I'm hoping that part two actually improves that. So I don't know if you guys had any questions about it or the case may be, but I just wanted to open to the panel now. If you guys did have questions or anything like that.
I mean, honestly, the biggest thing I had, which was last week, was more about the characters. But I mean, so far, if I had questions, it's more if we ever get a glimpse at the part two or whatever it's going to be called. But so far, um, nothing, nothing. Nothing right now.
Okay. All right. I know it's told that you're kind of like in a dry period with a little bit of games, at least until like Kenna or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you ever consider picking up Final Fantasy?
Yeah. I think so. I probably at towards like the end of like the things that I'm planning to play right now. But yeah, it's definitely it's. I've been meaning to get to it since last year. Um, I was gonna ask just like a little, I guess like a little question. Did they add any new music tracks? Like, is it something similar to like Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, where they added like a bunch of new music?
To intermission?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. They even have a whole like other soundtrack that they released.
Cool, cool.
Like there's a Final 7 remake soundtrack and there's a Final 7 remake integrate intermission soundtrack. And it's not just carrying over songs from remake. It's actually does have like different variations of its own songs, as well as a whole bunch of new ones from intermission, and that includes like Yuffie's theme and like there's I don't want to go too much into it, but yeah, there's definitely like a enough new songs to be like, okay, this feels familiar, but it feels also like all new.
Cool, cool. Sounds good. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
mean, yeah, it definitely sounds, and I guess like lengthwise, like I know that's not really like a concern for me, but I know for some people, like it might be. Um, do you think it's like a worthwhile addition to the main game in terms of like what it brings to the table?
absolutely, yeah. People can finish it in like, I mean, I finished it in around like 10 to 15 hours,
Oh wow, okay.
doing doing some side missions. One of the mini games I have in there for Condor is absolutely awesome. It's so good that there's not enough of it in the actual DLC. So I'm hoping that they can just add to it more. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of replayability to it. You can play on normal in the first time around, and then jump to hard, which is actually like a legit challenge because you can't use items. You can only use magic. So it comes to like the point of like, well, how much do you conserve your MP until you get to the next like save point where you can replenish all your HP and MP. Um, how much do you want to spend of your MP based on attack magic or just straight up restorative magic? So there's a lot of like replayability to it. I'm looking forward to going back to intermission and replaying it on hard and see how that does because the game is not a slouch. It'll kick your ass.
Nice, nice. Sounds good, man. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so is that has that kind of been your main focus this past week?
No. Um, the other main focus was Assassin's Creed Unity.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Okay, I'm leaning back in my chair. I'm excited to hear about this.
Ugh.
Man, so last time we had the podcast, I was saying I got to the part where Arnold got his robes, and I was like, all right, I'm down for this. I like Elise, I like Arnold. It's kind of like, very rambunctious and youthful like presence that he's bringing to the table, right? And there's this tragedy that happens, and then he has like this kind of epiphany moment, and then he dons the robes and becomes the assassin. Why does he get so like wet blanket character attitude after that? Like he's just a husk.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I
yeah,
don't get it, man.
yeah.
They set him up perfectly to like
Oh, oh man.
they set him up perfectly to like have like this really good and engrossing story as well as having the dynamic that Elise is a Templar.
It's an interesting premise too, man. I remember like
It's so good.
this was pretty much like the height of my like Assassin's Creed like I don't know, like excitement or like fandom. Well, technically Assassin's Creed 3 was like the most excited I was for Assassin's Creed 3, but I was still like when Unity was like announced and was coming, I was still like at that time I was still such a huge fan of the franchise. But I remember reading in Game Informer when they had like the exclusive like you know cover for the month or whatever and they had more details on the game. and they were talking about that premise of this is going to be sort of like a Romeo and Juliet tragedy kind of story, like the first like love story in the AC franchise, and it's going to be, you know, an assassin and a Templar working together for like pretty much the first time. And I was like, hey, that sounds like such a cool premise, but then they barely do anything with it.
And not until you get to at least sequence, I think 7 or 6,
Yeah.
where she starts having more of an influence. But even then, I was just like, oh my god, like it was just such a bore. And the thing is too that really kind of like had me at a love-hate relationship with it was that the first couple hours blew me away. The world is gorgeous. I
Yeah.
didn't think how much I wanted to be in that world until I actually start like messing around with it. But yeah, I mean the traversal is like it's. I feel like it is like an evolution of what they've been doing, which feels really good. It's not all there yet, but you can tell like they're like really getting there. But the combat, dude, the combat is trash. I hate it. What
Yeah,
a
man.
passion.
If you want it, you want a dedicated down button. You're gonna lag in combat. You're gonna lag in story. You want to go down? Yeah, the whole game's gonna go down.
It
Like,
sucks, dude. It sucks. Um,
How'd you feel? How'd you feel
and
about the difficulty with the combat? Because I still hold the, even though I've only played up until Unity, because Unity was the one that made me quit the franchise. But I still hold the belief that Unity's combat is the hardest.
I mean, yeah, it is. It wasn't like necessarily in terms of like hard, like oh my god, like this is like a fun challenge, like a I don't know, like a Neo game or something. It was more
Right.
of just like this is like a pain in the ass to control.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's a good
on
point.
top of that, this the stealth is just what?
It's that bad?
There's it's that bad, dude. Like it's that bad. Like I when I try, I really try to be more stealthy in this my playthrough here. At least when I'm replaying the franchise, because I was always the very like gun ho, let's go and just kill everybody. I'm way more stealthy now. So I'm trying to actually have that mindset going into these missions, and then guards are just spotting me like that, and
Yeah.
I'm like there's no room to do anything because they catch you everywhere you go, and they're so quick to like just call you out and just start chasing you.
Yeah.
yeah, man. They're tired of getting slaughtered. They're like, no, we're gonna be more attentive. We're gonna be more on the lookout.
True, yeah. It's just at that point, like I just didn't care for doing any side quests or doing these like Paris stories. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
that game,
the
man.
Paris stories, like that was one of my biggest gripes with that game, is that everything that you do in that game essentially boils down to either going to a place and killing everything in sight, or basically like sneaking into a place and having to steal something, and that pretty much boils down to like everything that you do in that game, for the side missions at least.
I'm glad I didn't really take in part of that because like I was just already bored with the story, and I'll maybe like the side quest would have helped, but even then, at that point, the gameplay was just frustrating me. The story was just going nowhere, and it was just bad, man.
The murder
It's
mysteries
probably the
are
worst.
the murder mysteries are the only thing that's like semi worth doing in that game. Like they are,
Semi worth doing.
yeah, they're
And
actually
and
like pretty
and
cool.
and Syndicate was like, oh, let's work with that. Let's do more of those. And they actually do more of those. They do more murder mysteries. There's a whole DLC dedicated to solving a huge mystery, which I don't think I ever got to finish, and I don't think you do get to solve it because not even in real life it was solved, which is the Jack the
Nah,
Ripper
yeah,
DLC.
it'll be one of those fictional liberties that they take if they did want to solve it.
Yeah,
Um,
which you did
yeah,
start
no,
playing,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep, yep. I did start playing Syndicate, and I actually got past more than a couple hours into it. I'm on sequence 4,
What do you
and
think?
I absolutely love it.
Dude, this is why I was surprised when Jay mentioned when Soul mentioned that he quit on Unity. I'm like, wait, so did you ever try Syndicate,
No, it just
bro?
that game. It's funny because so like how the story goes is that like yeah like my, I don't know how old I was, man, probably like
Mhm.
16 or something like that when Unity came out. I don't really remember.
Damn, Little
But
Soul.
like, yeah, like Unity absolutely like defeated me back then. But when Syndicate came out, I like convinced myself because it was like this whole black theme, this dark theme, all the smog and whatnot, it being taking
Yeah,
place
very
in
steampunky.
yeah, it taking place in Victorian London. I remember
Yes,
listening to
sir.
the main theme and just like how dark and kind of like, like almost sinister that sound, and I was like, okay, this is shaping up. This I was like convincing myself this is gonna be like the darkest AC yet. And then like I don't know, something along the way happened where like the more and more I saw the game, specifically there was one gameplay demo that and I was like, man, dude, this is just Unity again. Like all the animations were the same, the running animations, the assassination animations,
Mm-hmm.
the climbing animations, the fact that you're running into the same bald guy when you're fighting. He is just everywhere.
Oh yeah.
The combat was from what I saw was just like so button mashy, and just like all these things just piled up, and then of course the rope launcher, which I have opinions on. Just all these things just kind of built up, and I was like, I'm done with this franchise, man. I don't want to play it anymore. And then once the reviews came out, and it was kind of like average at best, and then I think the big kicker for me was the literally no progression with the modern day, which was like, yeah, like I love that stuff from the original games, and ever since Black Flag, like they were going less and less into that stuff, and then hearing that Syndicate was just like, again, basically they didn't even give any attention to that stuff. That was kind of like the nail in the coffin for me, where I was just like, okay, I don't need to put like any like they're obviously not giving me what I want from this franchise, so you know what, I'm just good.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that. Dude, you were very you. I'm glad that I heard that because it sounds like you did know what you wanted. Some people they just don't know what they want with this franchise, and they're like, it's not the same. It's like, what do you want then? Like, they don't know if they want modern. Do they want more like the same period but different, like a sequel to it, like it did with like Ezio's story, where you got more or less of the same vicinity. Some people just don't know what they want, what they see, which is why now we have this, this approach at it like more RPG kind of a setting.
Yeah,
And
but I'm glad you said that because I think that's why the franchise went where it did because fans didn't really know. They're very split on what they want, and
yep,
Ubisoft was probably the same, and they decided to go with what was popular, which was open world RPG.
Yeah.
Because I think that was like Origins came right after Witcher 3, which
Yeah.
which was game of the generation.
Yeah.
So, but besides that, I'm glad that Soul kind of touched on the fact that they left out modern because the thing is, I actually really liked that they left out modern stuff. That was the
Oh
stuff that was
man.
less appealing to me.
Oh man. I
It
I,
was.
I don't
I
want to
mean,
hear it.
I like the things I liked it, but I hated Sean. I hated Rebecca. I didn't like what's his name? Miles's dad, William, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, he's lame.
AC4s where it had like the most interesting aspect where like there's like this sage that actually has a ties to like this
God.
this ancient
I
history.
hate it. I
So
hate
like
it.
yeah,
I hate it that I still to this day don't like that stuff, man. And then that they made it such a prominent thing in Unity with like the
yeah,
actual
yeah.
like Paris storyline of like the main bad guy being a sage and whatever, and I was just like, stop, man, I don't care. I don't care.
I was like, okay, I was like, at least there's threads here to connect to, but then we get to Syndicate. I'm just like, I can't remember if we did like a modern time other than like the catalog where like you can read like all like the enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but so far Syndicate, man, I feel like I can change your mind on Syndicate because
yeah, man. I would try
it's
it.
it's
Yeah,
like a next gen Brotherhood
kind of,
Yeah.
kind of.
where
And the thing is,
you're literally
I hear
go
the
for it.
demo, I hear the description of the demo you saw, and I bet you saw Jacob. Like, I bet what you saw was Jacob's fighting. Because Jacob essentially, which is one of the protagonists, he's all You know,
Yeah,
he's a brawler. He's
Yeah,
a
he's a
brawler. He
brawler.
has his cane, and he'll fuck everyone up. When the thing is, when you go more towards Evie, you're gonna wish this whole game was just Evie, because Evie is an assassin. She
Yeah,
is a
she's stealth. Yeah,
stealthy. She is like finesse. It's all finesse. And there's this section which I won't go into details, but there's this section where you kind of like travel through time and you go towards a period and you play as her and you find out more about like the history of this, canonical whatever universe they Assassin's Creed built. Uh, it's incredible.
yeah,
Like the way that they built these twins essentially to work is incredible. It's fascinating. But I do agree that if you're looking for something very specific, you probably won't find it because the modern day thing it's essentially non-existent in a way. I didn't really mind it because with Desmond and his whole thing, I liked the idea. I liked going back and forth. I liked going to his estate in the present and then visiting in the past and
Yeah, man.
discovering all the little Easter eggs in the past and then going to the present and you finding like remnants of it, and that was cool. But then three just put a sour taste in my mouth, and I was like, if this is what it's gonna
same.
feel like to play the modern, I honestly just give me someone else. Like Desmond's story is over. He saved the world, whatever. Let's go to. That's why I love what they're doing with these new games with Fatum. I forgot her name. She's a new protagonist now in the modern day, and you have, cameos from Sean and
But
what was the other?
it's still the same thing with her, man. That you're spending, and I know people probably prefer this, but you're spending 90% of the time as Bayek or Cassandra or
Yeah,
Ivor, and then you check in on the modern day stuff for like 10% of those games. And I know that's probably what
yeah.
people, would prefer, but it's like, then why have a modern day at that point? If it feels like you guys barely care about this, then why should I? You know,
But
it's
the
kind
thing
of the
is,
same.
I do think they embraced the fact that not a lot of people cared, and they were like, okay, we're not gonna do it as much. It's important, but we're not gonna delve too much into it. Because the thing is, you only spend like 10% of it, but it matters much more. You know what I mean? Like the modern day
Yeah,
does matter. With Desmond, it was like, I mean, once the
because
Isu wasn't were involved, once there were fucking gods on Earth, I was like, oh, Desmond, this isn't even about you. You're just a dude that you just happen
yeah.
to have these visions, and like it wasn't important after a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like with AC3, it's like they already had their cataclysmic event. You know,
Hmm.
like they're as far as like the thing to end all worlds. So like, where do you go from here? And that's really just the ongoing fight between Templars and Assassins, which
Yeah.
it's like we already beat that over the head so many times. So like for me, going to the flash forward and seeing the modern day stuff, it's like it's not redundant, but it's like it's repetitious because it's really the same back and forth as far as like what they're trying to do. Um, but
Yeah.
overall, man, I think if you give Syndicate a shot, I think you'll really like it. The characters are charming, the world
Absolutely.
is fun to explore, the missions are fun, and again, it's like Brotherhood, where you get in like a really this one's obviously a bigger map, but you get a map and then
Hmm.
it's not peppered with a whole bunch of shit like Unity was.
Uh.
It's actually laid out nicely and not confusing.
Hmm.
So, and as far as the combat being button mashy, it is, but it's enjoyable. It's not like bad.
Yeah.
Um,
It, it's
so
it's
I think you'll
it's
like it.
where to the point where I remember it when Unity came out. They dedicated down button. You know, you're just holding. It's cool to see you do parkour, but you're not doing parkour with your like controller. You're just holding a button down, which in my mind, if I want to play a parkour game and I want to like actually like hit buttons here and there, I'll play Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, or I'll play Dying Light, where I have to actually try and parkour. But for me, they nail parkour in Assassin's Creed where you you don't care that it's just holding a button. The same they did with Syndicate, where brawling and this button mashing is not. You're not feeling like it's mindless. Like when in Kingdom Hearts 3, you could just hit, 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 hit. Here comes the attraction. Here comes the theme ride. Like it wasn't like that. It's more. You feel more into it, I guess. if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I think if you give it a shot, man, I think you'll like it. It's decent and it's not
For sure.
overwhelming. The skill tree is actually smart. It's not dumb like it was in Unity, where you had to unlock the double assassination like 5-6 hours in.
Yeah.
Mm.
Here you unlock it literally within the first like 10-15 minutes. So they made like a lot of really smart gameplay decisions that makes it fun. There's like a nice loop that goes on. So like I highly recommend it. But
Yeah. On today's show, convincing Soul to play Syndicate.
but as for my official ranking for Assassin's Creed up till now,
That seal of
been
approval.
I've been replaying them since December of last year, and right now I jumped ahead of Syndicate because I was like the Syndicate can't be as bad as Unity. Thankfully, it's not. All right, so for number 7, it's AC Unity, the trash of all trashes.
Oh
Ooh.
man.
Besides a beautiful open world and a beautiful protagonist.
I was gonna ask you really quick because I know we've been on this for a while, but how did you do any of the animus anomalies in Unity?
No,
No, that's like
no,
what? That's like one of the best parts of that game. Do you
no.
know what they are?
No.
They're okay.
I legit bum rushed to it.
So I forget the exact reasoning, but it's like something where like the animus is like glitching out or whatever. It basically teleports you to different points in history of France's history specifically.
Oh
So
wait, yeah, no, that's actually part of the story.
there, but like one of them is part of the story. There's like a couple additional ones.
No, there's 3 of them. There's one where you go to where the Eiffel Tower is.
Uh,
There's 2 others, but like I know what you're talking about as far as like time periods.
and
Yeah.
they are a part of the main path. I thought you just had to do like one.
No, there's actually 3 of them present throughout like the entire Unity story. The first one I think it's the second one where you climb the Eiffel Tower,
Yeah.
and the first one was where the train, and the third one is something I can't recall. But yeah, there's 3 of
Um,
them.
Yeah, you get to there's one that you get to explore medieval Paris, and then
Yes, that was the third one.
yeah, and then kind of like a more modern day Paris, the one with like all the I think like hot air balloons maybe.
Yeah, I think that
Um,
was during when it was occupied France in World War
Yeah,
II.
that was yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And
So
then
that's
obviously
what I meant. That's the part I meant. Okay, so when I mentioned them going through time, that's what I meant. It was the anomaly because I
yeah,
played that specifically with Evie Fry, and her. It's just her banter and her dialogue is so much. Not that I hate Jacob. It's just Jacob is less interesting to me than Evie. I don't know. It's
That's
just me.
true.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Number 6, AC1.
Ooh. Okay. Makes sense.
Tried and true, original, but gameplay and story's not there. Number 5, AC3.
Okay. I'll be
Number
playing that.
4, AC2.
Oof.
Yeah, I like where this is going so
I don't
far.
like where this is going.
Number 3, AC4 Black Flag.
All right, you got me there now. You trash. This is trash list.
Listen, you talking to the Pirates of the Caribbean guy that always wanted a pirate game, and I got it. Number 2, AC Revelations.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
And number
acceptable.
1, AC Brotherhood.
Okay, I
Alright.
agree with this. Top three. Those top three make sense. Yep. Those are legitimately top 3 Assassin's Creed games. I think. Even with Syndicate, for me, I think those 3 still are like top 3.
Well, mind you, I didn't finish Syndicate, so like the
No, but
the
for
ranking
me,
can change.
But for me, me having finished Syndicate, I agree that this, I would put Syndicate 4. But it's just because these top 3, the story and the main protagonists are just legendary. I mean, 2 of them, for God's sake, are the same one, you know, and one of them you play as a dual protagonist with Altair and Ezio. I mean, come on, man, how better can you get?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Um,
my official ranking right now, and yeah, enjoying Syndicate. We'll see how
All
it
right,
changes.
man. We spent a lot of time on this, so Walt, let's get through the games that you've been
Oh,
playing.
right, true. Yeah, we're doing this. I was like, yeah, we're in the podcast already. Nothing, man. Played Ratchet and Clank like hell. The beginning of the week, Had a blast. I haven't finished it. I stopped there and then I purchased Demon Souls. Been playing that. Um, it's been a while since I've gotten into like a new for me and a new FromSoft game from the ones I've played, and having to learn the layout and whatnot, and dying repeatedly just because I don't know what's around the corner. Love it. I'm enjoying my time. It's a beautiful looking game, a gorgeous looking game, incredible music. And I purchased Returnal the other day, and that's on hold after finished Demon Souls. And yesterday I started my second playthrough of Sekiro. So it's been a Ratchet and Clank slash FromSoft week for me. It's been all FromSoft. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Let's keep it short and sweet. How about you, Soul?
Um, yeah, so pretty much same old, same old. I got the platinum in Mass Effect 2.
Nice.
Then
Nice.
Ratchet and Clank I'm chipping away at. I'm pretty much at the end of the game right now. Just kind of cleaning up the little arena stuff. Game is still great. I'm having a blast with it. But the big game that I just got yesterday actually is a game called Chivalry 2. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
Interesting.
I don't know if you guys have heard much about this game, but it's pretty much a PvP kind of mass multiplayer game where you're basically just like two armies and just like clashing against each other, and you have, you know, a wide variety of classes and weapons, and each sort of play differently from each other. Um, there's a lot of nuance with the combat, so like you have it's not just simply just like hacking away at people, right? Like you have your typical slashes, but then you have thrust attacks, you have overhead attacks. You need to be able to block, but then your blocks could be broken by kind of shoves and kicks. You can't just spam the block button. Like obviously, like they can be broken by like a certain number of hits that you take. So you need to be wary of that. You have
so
stamina,
it's like rock paper scissors in a way with that kind of
almost,
system.
almost, yeah. You have stamina that you need to be cognizant of. You can't just be like sprinting everywhere, and you can't just be attacking, you know, 24/7. Like you have to kind of like manage that. Yeah, parries, counters, riposts. Like it's a pretty deep combat system, and it's a lot to manage that I'm only really scratching the surface of right now. But it's just a lot of fun, man. I'm having a lot of fun, just like whether it's team deathmatch or there's like some modes where like there's these siege towers that are like coming into this fortress, and you have to like you and your team have to like stop them. It's just a lot of fun right now. Yeah, it's I get that's really the biggest praise that I can put on it right now. I'm just having a blast, man. Um,
I saw it blow up. It was a day where it blew up. Like everyone was playing it, and I saw a stream of Critical playing it, and it does look like fun. It I don't know what it was. Having like recently bought like two games, I was like, I'll wait. And hearing you talk about it, I'm like, whoa, you being a bit here and there picky with certain games. I might try it out later on. How much is it? Is it full price 60?
I got it for 40, I think.
40. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, man, I mean that's a good point, like with in terms of me like being picky, but like more in terms of like like even more so multiplayer. Like I don't play a lot of multiplayer
Mm-hmm.
games.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, you know me, man. I love my medieval stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh,
That
I know that, and
that
which it surprises me that I never. You talk about this game, and the first thing that came to mind was Kingdom Come Deliverance. I
yeah.
never finished that game, but oh my God, was it brutal?
Yeah,
And it sounds like that, but multiplayer.
I never finished that game either, but I put in like 90 something hours. I absolutely love that game.
Jesus.
It's from the same publisher though, which is pretty cool.
Oh.
So you can I feel like you can definitely it's probably not even related, but you can definitely see sort of the like technical similarities between those two games.
For sure.
But yeah, man, it's really it's just a lot of fun. I'm just having fun, just running around with my teams and whatnot, and it's like I've only played 40 player matches so far, but then there's also 64, so like it could get pretty hectic. But
Mm.
even with just 20 on 20, I'm having a lot of fun just like going in there and killing people and like they and like obviously people have like different armor sets, obviously like the heavier armor that you wear, obviously the more protection that you'll have, so like those people will be harder to take down versus like archers or like normal foot soldiers. So you
And they're
kind of,
actually actual people?
what do you mean?
Or is it? You said it's multiplayer. Or is every single character on the field and another player, or are
Yeah,
some NPCs?
no, they're all players.
Whoa, I love
um
that.
yeah.
Okay.
I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it, man. It's a great time. The matches don't take that long either. Um,
That's
so
good. Matchmaking is like so important for games like that.
yeah, yeah. So it's just a good time to just kind of like pick up and play like a few matches here and there, and move on to something else.
Oh,
So
sweet.
yeah.
It's better than Destruction All Stars.
Oh man, we ain't there yet, man. I spent 19 hours in Destruction All Stars, man, and I've only spent 1 hour with this, so we gotta calm down. Um, guys, I think oh shit, I think my game just crashed.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no.
Um,
Does that mean that the stream crashed?
I I don't think so, but let's. I gotta close and I gotta jump back in.
What did you do, Soul?
I didn't do.
Hold on, let me see.
I didn't talk about this in the game is played, but Ratchet and Clank has been giving me some issues lately.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up to jinx it, but yeah, like when you go through like the rips the first time around, it actually like crashed my console.
Oh yeah, yeah, mine too. Yeah, there
Oh,
was
it did?
Mine?
yeah there was one time where like I hit the crystal, and I was on the snow planet, and I thought it just brought me in a room that was just pitch white, and I was like, oh okay, this is part of the level because I was in a snow level, and I was like, nope, there's literally nothing in this place. I couldn't move, or there was nothing. It teleported me to a white dimension, literally. Okay. God,
Well, we're
I
still live. We're still live. It's just a black screen.
okay. So, God, so shit, dude. I gotta close out.
Oh,
Uh,
the game itself.
yeah, because there's nothing here.
Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye on the stream just to see.
Hey,
Um,
hey, Mahmood, you came at the perfect time, man. um, all right, Ratchet and
What's
Clank
up,
just
man?
just crashed, man. So I think yeah.
wow.
So I think like I gotta close out the game and jump back in, and probably gotta start the
So,
stream back up again.
so you're saying Ratchet and Clank is just like Cyberpunk? It's crashing?
Not to that
That's not
extent.
that bad.
Yeah, not to
Nah,
that
yeah, it's not
extent.
that bad.
I
Okay.
just want to get people mad.
All right. So I'm gonna do this really quick because it's
All right.
probably gonna close the stream. Um.
Yeah, I'll keep it.
Oh no, man. Fuck. I think I gotta turn off my console. It's the last time this happened. Like it like my console like it says closing this game or app, and it took like it wouldn't get me back to the home screen. Like I had to like manually turn off my console because of this last time. All right, yeah, I gotta shut it down the console. All right, yeah, I'll be back.